Board member roll call.
Angie Rowling.
Brian Harris.
Bob Jarvis.
Mike Gardner. I'd like everyone to rise, please, and face the flag for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
Turn the video on. Excuse me, I'm joking here. I think we need to turn the video on.
That helps, Bob. Thanks.
On the agenda, we need to add an executive. Please, and that is for contractual. Let's add it. You want to do it after the legal?
Yeah.
So it'll be like 19A, please. Public comment, approval of minutes, warrants, correspondence. We can delete excess weight permits. Large gathering permit application for Long Road North Pownal, fiscal year 2023 budget adjustments. Constable fees question, town acquired unlanded trailer discussion, town owned cemeteries discussion, new meeting space discussion, old town hall use ideas, public comment, executive for personnel, executive for legal, executive for contractual, public comment, and adjourn.
So moved with the changes.
Seconded.
Any questions, any more changes, comments? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, I.
Mike, aye. Is there any public comment here?
Hello, people. How you doing tonight? I guess I want to just ask or mention my concern about the.
Can you state your name, please, sir? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Jim Kosis, North Mason Hill Road.
Thank you.
I'm just a little concerned with the decision to use recycled Route 7 asphalt somewhere along our roads. I noticed that on Niles School Road, they are using it to fill in potholes, and unfortunately with this rainstorm and the holes being filled up with water, it has really turned into a mess at that point. So I'd like to see if you could give me your explanation of why this decision is being made. Or number two is maybe invite Joel to kind of explain this whole situation to the town before it does happen. I really wouldn't like anything happening up on North Mason Hill Road until such time as an explanation is kind of explained of what is happening and how it's going to be used and how it might be mixed into dirt roads. I mean, I'm on a dirt road and I don't expect it to be mixed in with a recycled asphalt. Who knows what's in that asphalt on our road and stuff like that. So I'm just very concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think Joel should probably speak to that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna let Joel,
Question to him.
I'm gonna let Joel speak to that. I know he has a plan for it. And personally, no, I don't think it's a bad plan. I think it's a good plan, but I'm gonna let him, speak to that. Probably we'll invite him into the next regular meeting, which is the 10th, I think, right?
Yep.
Bring him in the 10th of August to, explain the use. Any more public comment here? Approval of minutes, July 13th, sorry.
We're just gonna listen to the old idea of Old Town Hall, and then we just want to, at that point, if that's appropriate, or now, if that's more appropriate.
If it's about the old town hall, then it would be under that agenda. Yeah, thank you. Approval of minutes, July 13th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, changes, additions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, I.
Mike, aye. Minutes of July 20th, 2023, special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, additions, questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Warrants, accounts payable, July 21st, 2023, 24,890.03.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable, July 28th, 2023, $37,038.99.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll, July 21st, 2023, and there is a correction on this agenda because this does state June and it should state July. So the payroll is for July 21st, 2023 for $11,080.45.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, corrections? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll for July 28th, 2023, $11,176.32.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, additions on that? Questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Any correspondence, Tara?
Yes, we have one from Jennifer Boucher, from Parks and Rec. Dear Pownal Select Board, there are a couple of topics I would like to address with Parks and Rec tonight, or for Parks and Rec with the Select Board. First, there are two upcoming community events. The Saturday from 11 to 3 is Celebrate Pownal Day, hosted by Faith Church at the ball field, or at the field behind Route 346 Firehouse and Center Street. Church Street. Let me take a breath. Okay. Among other things, the event includes a town picnic sponsored by Parks and Rec. We appreciate the Select Board member Angie Rawlings' help with coordinating and volunteering for the picnic. I will also be in attendance, and I think the rest of you.
I'll be down there as
I'll be
well.
down.
So that's this Saturday, and then next Saturday from 1 to 3 here at the Center Street Park is the skate park event hosted by Parks and Rec to celebrate the completion of $10,000 worth of improvements from the Partnership for Success grant. There'll be an ice cream truck, live music, and you can visit one or both of the events. One additional topic is the cost of the tree work at the Center Street Park. Last year, the VLCT insurance identified several items that needed to be addressed at the park. One of the items was the tree limbs that should be cut so they are at least 84 inches above the play equipment. With Hannah's help, we were able to get a cost estimate from Greater Heights recently, see attached. Greater Heights indicates that the tree needs to have additional work beyond what they requested. So the total cost is $910. Parks and Rec is requesting that the town cover 75% of this cost since its limited annual budget does not contemplate tree maintenance at town facilities. The other items identified by the VLCT insurance have been remedied. So it's just the tree work that's left. And I know we're on Greater Heights schedule for the tree over here, so if you approve it, then we can get on their schedule and maybe they can do them at the same time.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
What's the board's pleasure?
So
For the tree
moved.
work? I'll just read what the tree work actually is. The large sugar maple near the tennis courts, prune low branches over the court, prune out major and hazardous dead wood in the crown, chip out debris. And all the work is guaranteed to your satisfaction.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
With this, the town covering 75% of the cost.
I make a motion to approve the spending as stated by the recommendation of Parks and Rec.
So moved.
Any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. What I heard was Greater Heights, they're already doing some work for us and then they're gonna be coming in to do this. If they come in on the same day, is it possible to get any kind of a discount? Just because it's, moving the equipment back and forth, I would think would cost more money. There's some fixed costs associated with it.
I can mention it, but they usually give us a pretty good, the lowest possible estimate, I think, to begin with, usually.
Okay, and I don't want to create more, I don't want to delay it. If we're all in agreement, then I'm in agreement.
Any more comments, questions? All those in favor of having Greater Heights do the tree work by the tennis court?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bye-bye.
Mike, aye. Any more correspondence? Okay. Large gathering permit application to Furlong Road, North Pownell.
So I sent that all to you to review, and we do have people here to join. I don't know if you want to invite them to the table
I'd
or.
love to invite, if you guys wanna make a presentation for the permit application, love to have you come up.
I don't know where I am. I don't even know the presentation.
Can be short and sweet, Mark, it's fine.
Come up to the table.
Just come on up to the table and please and state your name.
Just basically the date, what you're planning on doing. It's, yeah, not a
It's
big
pretty
deal.
simple.
Mark Bodacy, I used to live here many, many years.
For a while.
Having a gathering of the 50-year reunion of the ISDT, and that's the International 6 Days Enduro that came through 50 years ago. We're gonna be at the Jelly property up in Jellyville, where I talk. And we hope to have 200 to 250, but it looks like it's gonna be down from that. Entries are not coming in like we thought, but we'll do the mass gathering permit anyway. And people will come on Friday night. They'll ride, it's a trail ride. They'll leave Jellies, head south, down toward Palmer's and all the landowners that cross and come out South Pownal, go up Orchard Street, up Church Street, up Gladbrook Road, Brookman Road to Mason Hill, and down Mason Hill Road to Benedict Road, to Old Military Road, all the way down to Barbers Pond Road, and then up to, and I do this every time, the little road up the Middle Pownal Road. Washington, thank you. And then up Middle Pownal Road, past Strohmeyer's, and we're gonna cut over above, it used to go across right from east to west and connect Route 7. Fuller Road. Then we'll go Carpenter Hill Road, up through, back down Mount Anthony Road, Skippery Road, back down North Pownal, back down to Jellies. And it's a ride. They're only 12 mile an hour average they have to maintain. And I have ambulance on notice. I have the sheriff's department because I want to hire 3 sheriffs for the road crossings on Route 7. 8 porta potties, a food truck. We're going to have the banquet at the Legion Saturday night. That's all scheduled and that's going to be catered, and that's about it. They'll be there Friday night, Saturday night, and then everybody leaves Sunday. But they'll ride Saturday and Sunday.
And these are older bikes, correct?
Nothing older, nothing newer than 1973 or 1983.
Actually sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It does.
I can date with those, Mark. I can't date with the new ones, but I can.
It's pretty neat to,
Yeah,
to witness. It's
Yeah.
old bikes. It's pretty cool.
And old riders.
Yeah.
They're 70s and 80s.
So they're the exact same bikes that ran 50 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably the same people as well from 50 years ago, a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are, yeah.
Very
We
nice.
got some icons, we got some heroes coming,
Oh, good.
yeah. It's pretty neat event.
Pretty cool.
I was pretty honored when they called me and asked me to put it on
That's September 9th and 10th, right?
September 9th and 10th, yeah.
nice.
Thank you.
Is that something that we could, do we put those on our website for?
Yeah, that is actually part of it. This is like an ordinance, and that's part of our ordinance. It goes on the website once you approve it.
Right, so it's a little bit of,
It's kind of an average.
kind of an advertisement, you know, we can put it on, it will go on the town's website as well.
Great.
Just because.
Great,
The application, your permit goes on the website, and if you have any like, things that you're putting in flyers or anything to advertise it, send it my way and I'll put it up for you.
okay, cool. Thanks, Carl.
Yeah.
board have any questions? I think it's great. I think it's,
I think it's a wonderful idea.
yeah, for sure.
I make a motion to approve for the large gathering for the Furlong Road for September 9th and 10th.
I'll second.
Any more discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, Mark and Jamie, for putting this on and, thank you for doing the permit and sounds like you got all your ducks in a row.
Hopefully.
Yeah, things happen, but you know, something sounds like, yeah, sounds like you got most of them out there, pretty much, you know, you're gonna, yeah, sounds like it's gonna be a really good time.
I remember those when I was a kid. It was a nice event.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Is it cool if we leave?
Yes, absolutely.
Nope, you're here for the duration.
Whatever door you want.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay, fiscal year 2023 budget adjustments. That's you, Alan. I know you didn't really need to be told that, but.
I didn't, but thank you. So we do these every year. Alls we're doing is, so the town of Pownal votes on a total budget. And so that allows us to move money when budget lines are overspent from budget lines that aren't. So I sent these to you ahead of time. Nobody questioned me on anything. The road budget, I'm gonna be moving $59,375 from not overspent to the overspent lines. I listed all the lines out with their titles. In case I did a typo on the number, I put the title of the line also, so that way I didn't have to come back to you guys. And in the general fund, I'm moving around $95,965. And that is a lot because we added, we have the, oh my lord, instead of listers, we now have the assessor clerk. So the assessor clerk line had nothing in the budget, but it's moved from the lister line. And a couple other line items we had added, and then other overspent items that were out of our control due to cost increases. Basically why most of the lines were overspent. We're still in good shape. Doesn't mean that we're not in good shape. Obviously, if I can move that much money around, we still have FY23 is looking pretty good. There still could be a couple large bills coming in, because we can accrue till August 31st. Our bills that come in dated for June. That's why I now wait until toward the end of July to do it, instead of doing it in the middle of June and then having to come back in and do it twice. So I'm hoping this is a one-time thing for the general and the road.
Does the board have any questions for Alan?
No.
I think it was again, I think it was an extremely thoroughly prepared budget adjustment sheet, Alan, you know, it was very easy to follow, you know, all the way down through. I think that's probably why I didn't get a lot of questions. I don't think you got any questions from me. Right, so I don't think that, I think that's probably why, as a board, we didn't have to, you know, question anything, because it was pretty easy to understand and easy to read, at least, you know.
Well, I give you the backup expense reports to check to see.
Right.
So.
They
And this
should
is
probably
way-
be voted separately.
They should vote them separate just to have it for the external auditors, because what I do is attach the minutes to the adjustments that I do, and then Tara signs off on the adjustments I do.
Okay.
So there's a
Yeah, it's-
we have what is it?
A system.
A system, thank you, I was gonna say a pattern, a system. We're both having word problems.
We've been both here probably all day.
Well, yeah.
Getting
all-
tired.
Well, I was nervous.
Right, you have a checks and balance system going on here, which is, again, it's awesome, so. So it looks like we need two motions, one for the road and one for the general.
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve the changes for the road.
I'll second that.
Sorry, I thought she was gonna say more. I thought she was pausing.
For the budget adjustment for the,
Adjustment. Like I said, it's been a long day.
no kidding. Any questions on that, any comments? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, I.
Mike, aye. I'll entertain a motion for the general.
So moved with the changes.
Second.
Any questions on the budget adjustments for general fund? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, I.
Mike, aye. Thank you, Ellen. Thanks for such a easy to understand.
No problem.
I think in the past, it's been a little difficult at times for,
Sometimes, but I have a system down now and it seems to work. So,
I like the new system.
yeah, we're getting there.
It works really easy.
Guys, have a great one.
Thank you, Ellen.
constable fees question.
Okay, so there was a question of whether Eddie, our constable, should collect fees when he provides a civil service. As you guys know, the sheriffs, and any other agency that provides civil service do collect a fee. It turns out the fees are actually defined by statute. I reached out to the LCT for clarification because the statutes state the fee goes to Eddie as the person providing the service. And I basically said, how does that work? Does the town then collect it from Eddie? They said to make it above board, Eddie would collect the fee for himself. If he chose to donate it to the town, that would be up to him as a donation, because technically he is the one who would be collecting it. And if I'm interpreting all of that correctly, you guys couldn't alter that decision because it's kind of on him, because it's defined by statute. So if he decides he wants to charge a fee for that service, he can, and then basically just keep it. I think you could institute ways of tracking it and ask him to run it through cash receipts. But it's, like I said, it's sort of a,
So on that line, I understand that 100%. I did some, and we don't have that in here tonight. I was all prepared for the town official presentation. That's okay.
I don't know what happened to it.
I'm gonna blurt it out, a little bit of it out right here.
Out of there, didn't I?
Tuesday afternoon, I did some health, inspections, some rental inspections. And per our previous conversations as a board, I brought Eddie with me, as the town constable. We met and then we went into the residences and took care of, our inspections, which was incredibly effective. It's the first time that Eddie and I have been together doing anything like that. But the visibility, was received really warmly, to be honest with you, by, some of the other tenants. And, you know, we parked, we walked around, he had his uniform on, I had my little lanyard and identification. We talked to some different residents, that were totally separate from what we were doing. So I think the visibility was, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think we made a great decision on having him go along on those kinds of things. Which leads me to my question. Is there a fee for him by statute, which is gonna take some research, if we charged or he charged the fee when he went along on those, like X number of dollars per inspection on a health issue? Or could we as a town, have a fee for that? We probably can't for the health, I'm not sure. It's just something because honestly, it's the documents that, you know, I have to fill out, they're 12 pages long. It's, you know, there's a lot there. In this particular instance, a couple of them, we didn't have to really do the 12-page document because there's no question whether we're gonna condemn him. The other thing that we had was he had his body cam on, so we had video evidence of what was going on there. So I think it was very effective.
I don't think those fees necessarily are defined by statute, but, you know, if the board wants to discuss compensating Eddie in some way, then that's a different, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
And that's something we should.
That would be up to you guys.
Right, I think we should think about that, only because I just think the visibility and where we were, you know, where we were at was really, I heard some comments today about it that were just incredibly positive. One of the people who made the comment is, you know, they've seen stuff going on for 40 years and never seen or heard anything about, well, like we did on Tuesday. And Leonard happened to be there doing a dog thing at the same time. So there was, you know, there was a whole bunch of, you know, we kind of, it was totally unplanned. We just kind of met and there we were. So, you know, we had 3 town officials, you know, in the same place, basically.
As far as the constable joining you or anybody on one of those calls, I mean, I would think that that's not every call, right? It's if we're using the constable to join in on any visits, wouldn't it be the same as what we used to use, say, the sheriff for? Or are we expanding and actually using him in areas where we have not used an enforcement officer in the past?
I think it's what you all planned on doing is using him as the second party, but it was a volunteer basis. And I think Mike is suggesting paying instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, like we did 4 separate inspections on Tuesday. You know, I mean, I don't think we have to pay each inspection, you know, I mean, but if we paid if we had like a $25 fee or something like that, I don't know, Bob. I really, I think one of the things I want to do is I want to make sure that we kind of keep that going. Because like I said, I think it was very effective. Just having that second person along for, you know, a bunch of reasons really was, you know, and I'm pretty sure that he's been with Leonard on some calls, you know, out there too, some dog calls. But I mean, you know, certain health calls or zoning from my standpoint, I wouldn't need him on everything. But I mean, I felt that this was an important thing to have the body cam, have that second person. He did the same as I did for the reports that, you know, he wrote up a general synopsis of each place that we went in. And then we submitted that, you know, yesterday and today.
Okay, and it's not, I'm not saying there's no value to it. I just want to understand while we're expanding and we're dipping into money that we didn't necessarily budget for. So
no, I think, Bob, what I'm getting at with that is we charge a fee to the person who's requesting the inspection type of thing.
If it's a health officer inspection, can you do that?
I don't know. That I don't know, Tara. That's what I'd want to.
I doubt it.
Right.
I would doubt it.
I don't know. I just, you know, it was just a thought to start some conversation on, not looking to, you know, pass it tonight or whatever. Just a thought, Bob, to, you know, I guess what I want to do is I want to keep it going forward because the same thing. I don't want to lose it.
It sounds like a really good process, and I'm not knocking the process at all. It's always better to have more. But then, you know, but we also have to budget for it. We have to weigh the cost and the benefit, you know, that whole thing.
Well, and that's what I'm proposing is that, you know, we could put a fee for the inspections, whatever, or when he goes into a dog complaint. I don't know. You know, maybe we can't. Maybe it's already in a statute somewhere. That's just my question on that. That's all. And I don't want to take
Understood. And then there's pros and cons on the fee as well. Like,
right.
You go out and inspect somebody's property and you find out because there was a complaint, there's actually no violation. You can't really charge them for having inspected.
No, that's true.
Their property.
Right. There's a lot of things out there that, you know, for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but.
So, do you feel like I should work with Eddie to come up with a way to track if he does charge what he's charging? Or do we want to just have him give receipts for it?
Well, I think a tracking system would be beneficial only in the sense that, if somebody said, well, the constable position, he only made $10,000, by serving all that stuff. No, he didn't. He made $250.
Right.
So I think there's an advantage to having that tracking system
Okay,
on that, just on that alone.
okay,
They can't say, oh yeah, he's just using it for in this instance, our constable's using it for another income or whatever. I just think it's beneficial for him for sure.
yeah. I can, I'll work with him and Ellen to figure out how to get it run through cash receipts and.
And I have to say, this was my first interaction other than sitting in a board meeting with him, and I was really pleased with how that went.
Yeah, just from my standpoint, every time I've interacted with him, he's been extremely professional. When he comes into the board, when I've seen him in other places, in my opinion, the town voted correctly.
Yeah, no, I like I said, this was my first interaction with him out there, and it was very warmly received when in past instances, I'm sure that it hasn't been all that warm and fuzzy doing the same things. So are we good on the constable? Anybody have anything else on that? Town acquired unlanded trailer discussion.
Okay, so as you all know, we acquired a trailer in Pownal Estates through a tax sale. Currently working with our lawyer, who suggested the best course of action would be to serve a notice to vacate. This, however, might be a little tricky depending on who's living in the trailer. Serving the notice is gonna be a challenge. However, the plan, if you so choose, is to send a certified letter to the last known owner and then ask Eddie to hand deliver to whoever is staying in the residence. The notice to vacate came directly from our lawyer. He did also say that we have another option. We could try to, this is a little strange of an option, but we could try to have the people staying in the home purchase it for whatever amount and save us this process. And then it would be on the park to evict them and get the trailer out. Pownal Estates has sent us a bill. However, there is a lot of confusion over whether we owe all the way back to June 22 or if we only owe from June 23. Our attorney's kind of hashing that out with our tax sale attorney. So I don't have an answer on that, but what I would like to do to avoid further late charges is pay the June, July, and August of this year, because we definitely owe those. While the lawyers figure out.
And you're talking lot rent.
Yeah, so it's $426 per month, plus 3 months of late fee at $50 each. So the total is $1,428.
I don't
3
think
months.
we have a big choice in that one.
No.
But I just want maybe a motion and approval on that so that I can get it in the minutes and we can get that check out tomorrow.
The 3 months since we took ownership, I don't think we have a leg to stand on, so
No, we definitely owe that.
we owe that, unfortunately.
And then, so if you make a motion for that and then just give me the go ahead with the notice to vacate and I will start that process.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve paying the back rent to make us current, the 3 months worth with late fees.
So moved. Or second, sorry.
Any more discussion on that? I think what I'd like to do, let's vote on that and then we'll move on to the other one. Okay, sorry. All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, aye.
Bye.
Mike, aye. So I think on the other one, the notice to vacate is when Eddie served that, if we so vote to do that, I'd like to make sure he doesn't go alone. A select board member goes with him.
It's also, sincerely Tara Parks, executive assistant. I'm not sure that that's, we might want to change that, like the Pownal Select Board,
Oh, the letter that the,
for the sake of my sanity, please.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's
I don't
fine.
want to, it like literally looks like it's
I think
coming
it
from
should,
me.
I think it should. come
it should be from the
board.
board. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be from
And
you.
I think a board member, should accompany Eddie on that, when he serves those papers, because basically it is coming from the select board, the town of Pownal owns that trailer at this time.
Yep.
And I think that's our best option right now is to ask them to leave,
Just to start with.
right?
I also think we can do and that's the email with Bob today that I gotta get a hold of him. We can do a health inspection on that. I think we have to give 24 hours notice. I can go in and do a health inspection on the trailer, but there's a couple of things that we're just making sure of before we do that legally and what our options are. That I don't want to get into tonight because I just got the email today and I didn't get time to talk about it.
It's a lot of information too. It's
There
not.
was a lot of information to kind of try to, so I think we're looking for a motion to, ask to vacate,
It's notice to vacate, yeah.
notice to vacate.
I make, second,
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bye-bye.
Mike, aye. Town-owned cemeteries.
1 sec, I gotta finish this note.
Yep, I'm fine.
Okay, so previously I came to the board and requested 5,000 from our Pownal Housing Rehabilitation Loan. Took it out of that to use towards getting our cemeteries documented electronically. All of our cemeteries, as you know, are in need of mapping and documentation. However, 2 town-owned cemeteries are in dire need of accuracy as we are currently unable to sell plots because it is really disorganized and a much bigger undertaking than I had initially thought. So the company I spoke with at first had given us a $5,000 baseline price. After working with them now for some time, they have given us an estimate of 7,500 to come down. But with that said, it includes much more than what I had originally thought. This team comes out, they walk the cemetery and match it to our paper records to, see what is actually there in comparison to our other records. It then gets put into a system that our community could access online. So that's sort of unlimited access. They can locate loved ones. They can see open plots or where might be available to purchase still. And then there's an administration side. So Hannah and I and one other person, there's 3 users, could keep the system updated as we sell more plots and things like that. And it'll just be a nicely put together system. It's very user friendly. It would prevent a lot of people having to come into the office and get into the vault to do research. And it's very confusing research anyways. Our cemeteries are a little tricky. And then the annual subscription for that is 600. The reason that it's only 7,500 is because they are actually coming out to do another cemetery in Vermont. So that's the decreased amount. It's not a small amount, so obviously I wanted to make sure it was comparable. It's like way less than a lot of the other companies, which I was pretty shocked. But I even checked with Nemrick to see if they had a comparable module. They do not. It's basically just it would store our documents, but it won't map it and it doesn't allow for outside access.
That's the NEMRIC system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other systems that I looked up were more expensive. Their demos didn't seem as user friendly. And they weren't cloud storage, so they weren't accessible to the outside, which I think is a great feature because if you're in Florida and your loved one was buried here and you're doing research, we actually get a lot of calls like that. It would be nice to be able to direct them right to this program. So basically, I am requesting to increase that amount from the 5,000 to 7,500 to get this project up and running.
So moved.
Go ahead.
I'll second, and then well,
Any questions?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
yes.
Question? We knew that, Bob.
So well, just my question is, just sort of a what about the privately owned? I mean, there's a lot of privately owned cemeteries in town.
So I will eventually love to include them, but I figured if we start with the town-owned ones first, because they are, I don't know how to say it. They're town-owned and they're right at this very moment, the most poorly managed. I'll just say it the way it is.
But we took it over like that.
The private cemeteries in town are pretty well managed right now, or they're not active cemeteries, whereas they aren't still burying people in them. That makes a
Right.
huge difference.
And I was thinking more about the people who want, years and years ago, somebody had approached me about one of the cemeteries in Pownal, and I'm almost certain it's on private land, and I wasn't able to locate it. But I think since then, more things are mapped, and now, recently I was able to locate it, but then I couldn't locate that person to get back to her. So, but in any case, that's the only reason I was asking. So we do have the option of putting in privately owned.
Yes. Yep,
With the approval of whoever owns it.
definitely. Yep.
All right.
And also, just so you know, Bennington and North Bennington, I believe, use this system as well as many other Vermont towns. So it's widely reputable.
Yeah, motion on the table.
I have a motion on the floor in a second. Any more discussion? Really? Thank you, Angie. All those in favor?
Angie, aye.
Brian, I.
Bye-bye.
Mike, aye. It wasn't in a big hurry.
No.
New meeting space discussion.
So I'm just wondering your thoughts on what you want to do.
I think it's lovely the way it is. We just need to get some real furniture. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. That is exactly what I'm asking. I kind of like you guys wanted to decide this, so I'm like, leave it all to you.
Go to the dollar store, get some nice tablecloths.
She already suggested that. I told her
She
no.
disappointed me last week. I thought we were gonna have those. But, I think this is very effective. I think with the screen set up as we have it, Hannah's the one that right at this point that's running the Zoom portion. So she slides the camera over to whoever comes up and speaks at the table. I like the setup right now. The glare last week was not really horrible, and it was a pretty bright, evening. So.
It came across on Facebook very well.
Right. I like the setup. I think the acoustics are good the way we are. We had some comments on that last week.
Do you have a preference on the make of the table?
I'm partially black walnut.
4 separate tables probably is best, but that looks similar enough to go together like this. Do you have any other thoughts? Bill did find some pretty neat looking things, but they're like butcher block and then you just put the legs on them.
Lightweight, maneuverable, and collapsible because it's going to be a multi-use space.
Right, we're gonna be voting in there and stuff.
With that in mind, not that those white collapsible tables look great, but with tablecloths on them, we could use those for a while, I would think. If we just put tablecloths on, and then just thinking from a budget standpoint, keep our eyes and ears open for the yard sales, estate sales, things that have big nice looking tables.
Big meeting tables.
Or do we really need it if we were to put table? Well, I guess it kind of detracts from the space to have those to have
Yes,
Yeah, we need, yeah.
I think we go find some,
nice looking tables that all
and
match.
I think that Bill is probably the person to kind of, because he seems to take an interest in this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think we should get some old 1960s school desks.
Well, you took
The theme of the room.
Brian,
I'm not sitting in school class.
The old bomb shelter ones.
you kind of took you kind of took my thunder there, but I think if we had something, that was not old, but looked the part of an old schoolhouse, if we could find something that would make that U shape like we have now, that's why I thought about putting Bill in charge of that, because he can do the research and he likes these kinds of things. I think, you know, if it was affordable, I think that would look and fit in here pretty well. Just my opinion.
I'm sure they have.
I'm not gonna go into an
furniture.
old chair though that they had back then, okay?
No, me
They don't- These chairs are pretty comfy, but I think a desk, you know, is kind of set up like that, given where we're at in the old schoolhouse would look really kind of neat. Just my opinion.
any other thoughts that I should be looking at right now to start brainstorming? Any purchases that you can think of? Other than the tables,
We have plenty of folding chairs, right?
yeah?
No, I think right now, just the tables and maybe a runner across
The plat,
the
yeah.
plat.
Okay.
You good on that? Any more discussion?
Nope.
Okay, old town hall use ideas.
Will it let me share my screen, Hannah, if I just push share screen?
I did have access, so hopefully it works, if not, I'll fix it.
Okay,
If you would like to come up to the table so you can see the screen, I know this is what you're here for, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, please come up and
Join us.
thank you. Rather than trying to crook your neck around, you see what's going on, right?
You're not red.
okay, well, that's good. I'm usually very red when I do
You're not
this sort of thing. So I would like to present to the select board my idea for creating a community center in the center of our community. Oh. Back. That did not work.
Well, that was a very nice presentation.
It was brief.
Let me try that.
Thank you.
The urgency. The town hall is now sat vacant. The old town hall has now sat vacant for a year, over a year, actually. The building has historical significance to the town and cannot be sold for various reasons.
Can I just stop you for 1 second? It's not up on the screen.
Is that share screen?
Sorry.
It's okay. No, I'm glad you said that. I went from not being nervous back to being nervous. There we go. Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
So the town, as I was saying, we have been paying for a year to maintain the building, paying for electricity and heat year round. And this is just the social urgency piece. According to Psychology Today, social connection and engagement are associated with better physical health and a stronger immune system for older adults, improved mood, and a lower risk of dementia. The need. To the right are the results from the health equity assessment, which was completed this year by 200 of our residents. The results highlight the most important health factors according to participants. Thus are the needs we should strive to address within our community. For a long time, we have relied on other towns to provide equitable access to health and social services. However, the need for local access and opportunity is clear. And as you can see, some of the most important factors, it's kind of hard to see on my screen, but some of the most important factors for a healthy community, as seen by the survey participants, are clean environment, good jobs and healthy economy, low crime, safe neighborhoods, good schools, and affordable and safe housing. Top 5 most important health problems in the community: mental health, domestic violence, lack of insurance, child abuse and neglect, and aging problems. Top 5 most important behaviors that impact overall health: substance abuse and drug abuse, poor eating habits, alcohol abuse, being overweight, and tobacco use. The goal. The goal would be to create a Pownal Community Center that strives to address the needs of our community and fosters a deeper sense of belonging and unity amongst our citizens. With this type of space and programming in town, we are better positioned to begin focusing on prevention and a proactive approach versus a reactive response to the needs of our community. Incorporate the survey results for suggested uses of the Old Town Hall listed to the right with the health and social services needs of the town into programming. Seek out such programming by providing the opportunity and the access to area agencies, groups, individuals, workshop leaders, and lecturers that are interested in using the space. So we, on the survey, included the question of what people would like to see in the Old Town Hall. And that includes events, educational workshops, physical activities and recreation, markets such as the farmer market, social clubs and meeting spaces. Top 5 populations of focus who are often left out: older adults, economically disadvantaged or low income, children and youth, those without transportation, and those with mobility issues. And the other side is more of like why people were not using the skate park. A lot of it is mobility issues, or they don't skate or have an interest in that. And then some ideas for future engagement is just more inclusive and accessible meetings, polls and surveys, social media, home visits, or like a one-on-one type setting, and the website. So the next steps. If the board approved me moving ahead with this plan, I would begin applying for the grant opportunities with this specific goal in mind. Begin collecting quotes from contractors to make minor repairs and upgrades to the building. Have a small kitchen installed. Build the space to be a multi-use and all-inclusive space. Work with the VLCT and town attorney to determine insurance coverage, costs, usage agreements, etc. And then have the building retested for mold. And this is just a quote. There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. So the quick wins would be bringing necessary services into town at no additional cost to the taxpayers. We would give the seniors a group, it's hard to see my whole slide here. Give the seniors group in town a different place to gather for cooking and exercise activities. This has actually been requested numerous times. Foster a sense of belonging and unity. Provide residents a meeting space with a play space for children to decrease the stress of occupying little ones during important appointments. Create an atmosphere that encourages community engagement. Show a commitment to providing services to our most vulnerable population. Or hang old town mementos, photos, and other interesting pieces of history for viewing and conversation. So those are just some of the things that could be done rather quickly with not a lot of money. And no cost to the taxpayers. My goal would be to do this without asking for money from the taxpayers. I mean, additional money because we are already paying to keep it running.
Right, we're already paying maintenance and upkeep.
So that is it for my short presentation. Packed with info.
It was a very nice presentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very thought out, and that came from the survey that everybody did pretty much, correct? And just so people know, a lot of people don't know, but the center pin is exactly at the corner of that building. That is exactly Pownal Center. A lot of people don't know that. And it also supplies the water. We have to keep the water on to the fire department.
And the repeater for our wastewater system, it's a radio system, is in that building also.
So we have to maintain that building no matter what anyways. So I just want people out there to realize that. Thank you so much, Tara.
Definitely.
The board have any more comments or any comments on Tara's presentation? Questions?
Mike, just a really nice presentation. Nice job, Terry.
Thank you.
I think as a board, we have a couple here that would like to speak on the, town hall news. So if you would just don't mind stating your name and.
Sure, yeah. I'm Tom Zolper.
Alexander One.
About a year and a half ago, we bought the Hopkins house across the street, the
Okay.
yellow house. So glad to be in Pownal. And I'm thinking for myself, I think it's an amazing, awesome idea that Tara's put together. And, I'd be happy to help if you were looking for volunteers. We just had sort of an idea that actually might be just a perfect complementary piece and just a little piece, but Alexander is German by nationality, although she spent a lot of time in the United States, and we both come back from Germany. And like, we're so, people think of beer gardens as kind of all the drunks, with their, and Oktoberfest and stuff. But over there, it's really a community gathering place. And the original idea was you bring your own food. It's like a picnic area outdoors. And now it's associated with beer, but it really is just a community outdoor gathering place. We have some pictures we could share,
We have a brief little presentation, just
a
a couple
screen
of
with you,
comments.
or we could just hear whatever.
They can share their screen. I think we owe, you're here. I think we owe it to you to see your presentation. All right.
Be offended if you don't want to.
It's very brief. How do I share it with you now?
You can join Zoom meeting or you can send it to me and then I can.
Oh,
It might be easier to join the Zoom meeting just because then.
okay.
Yeah. You
Great.
have to run here.
All right. Hold on, then I just have to get to know. A few minutes to talking.
Sure, while these folks are working out the technical part, but I don't know if you noticed, but in Bennington, there's a couple of churches that have started a weekly outdoor cafe every Saturday for 3 or 4 hours.
We have a local church in town here that's doing something.
That's helping with that? Oh.
Yeah, Junction Cafe.
Oh, okay.
So theirs is inside. They
Inside?
coffee, free Wi-Fi, games.
It would be similar, I don't know what the alcohol beverage laws are around here, whether you can actually serve beer,
You would have to get permitting,
permitted neighbors and stuff, but
the licenses, I think, for outdoor.
tricky.
Yeah, a little
It is
bit,
tricky.
yeah.
Especially on town property.
Yeah,
Okay, so it might be.
The insurance, I couldn't even imagine.
But, maybe there's
outdoor picnic.
chance for some outdoor cafe at the right moment, or, maybe you start once or twice a year, just see how it goes, and then,
Well, that kind of ties in with the whole Parks and Rec idea for Center Street Park. So we're already
doing
developing that. So that would tie in with that.
it's perfect. I mean, over there, people bring their kids, and there's sometimes an actual playground or games, so, it's really a family thing. There are crazy beer drinking places over there, don't get me wrong, where serious beer drinking, but many of them are just community outdoor
You should just be.
places.
Oh, sorry.
But, this location, pretty sweet. You got the view and
Recording in progress.
Okay.
got it. Sorry.
And then share somewhere, right?
Yep.
Sorry.
See right here.
another 30 seconds.
No, it's technology, right?
So you gotta turn your speakers off and be on mute because you're in the same room.
So this is what I want to share.
So if you go maybe there.
And then I think that most of what I heard, and I guess we'll see it here in a second. Oh,
Yep. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we already said that. So
Yeah, so Pownal Family Beer Garden, Old Town Hall use idea, helping neighbors connect and build community. It's not just about beer. I'm just American. I had the same misconceptions about beer gardens. I thought of Oktoberfest and, it's an, the word garden sort of says it all. It's about community outdoors. This is one of our favorite places. They had many families coming. There was a little playground over to the right. And just a small concession area. Many people did bring their own food. And there are other commercial beer gardens around. This is one that's opened up in Troy. You know, they're catching on this idea. And we said, why not right next door, maybe once a week or summer pop up, or start with just one or two events, see how it goes. Such a nice location. You don't need a whole lot of ground. You might not even really need the indoor part of the hall. I mean, it might people be bringing the food and almost like a picnic situation, and maybe you just use the building for a little bit of storage, or I'm not sure what that would be. We haven't really worked out any details.
Bathrooms, maybe.
Maybe bathrooms, yeah, yeah.
On picnics tomorrow.
I mentioned that in Bennington, they've started a weekly, they call it an outdoor cafe. And is it Bill? Your name?
I'm Brian.
Brian had mentioned that actually Pownal, of one of the churches, has started something indoor that's kind of a similar idea. So it would be along those lines. While we were trying to work out the technology, we heard that the beer might be pretty difficult to do, but it's more of a theme, I think, than anything else. And I already introduced us. We, you know, you see Alexander in their traditional, they call it a dirndl. I wasn't wearing those leather pants. There's no way I was getting into those, but I did buy a vest over there. So anyway, we're brand new to Vermont, and we're looking to help out. We love this idea, and whether that's a community, you know, event, or whether it's something else along Tara's ideas, we're happy to help.
And I can also add to that, I'm by profession a graphic designer. I also have a master's degree in social design, which is all about community engagement. So I'd love
Good to know.
engaged.
Yeah.
Be fun, be super project. So
Great.
You should look into joining our Parks and Rec committee then. It's currently 3 members, me, Jen Boucher, and Brian Fappas. So we are in desperate need of fresh ideas and extra hands. So we meet once a month, usually here or the park down there, or one of the other public properties.
Sounds great. Yeah,
We would absolutely love to.
we'll reach out.
You don't even have to join. You can just come to a meeting if you want.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
I have to say, sitting here tonight, listening to ideas that were presented by Tara and a couple of residents in town, I'm excited about some uses for the new town hall. I know I haven't been excited about uses for that place for sure at all. But now, sitting here, I have a vision. I can put that vision in my own head. I can take your vision, I can take Tara's vision, and I can see your excitement and your willingness to help. I can see what her vision is. I can see this coming to fruition, fairly rapidly, and also,
Just tell me I can't.
yeah, also, in a extremely positive way, because I think our community with the Parks and Rec over the short term that's been here, things that have happened in Pownal in the last 3-4 years. This is another step forward in my mind, and a fairly large one.
And Jennifer Boucher really helped with that survey process. We
Right.
worked with the Vermont Healthy Communities Program to do that survey. And they're helping, their technical assistance program is helping us look at this area as a whole. So it kind of just is working out really nicely.
Yeah, and the amount of grants and donations that she's been able to help coordinate and bring in, like, there's been a lot of improvements, and I don't think people realize the amount of money that she's managed to bring into our community to make improvements.
It's a huge deal.
I'd like to-
Very appreciative of her.
I'd like to ask this board tonight to give Tara, full rein on this project, to look into it and move this project forward. As Andy stated, we're already paying the upkeep, and we're paying the electric, we're paying the heat, we're maintaining the building. They were fixing the railing the other day.
We should be utilizing it.
We should be using it for something, and I couldn't think of a better thing than what's been proposed by my people here this evening. I'm excited about it. I really am. I think a lot of that stuff is so over needed. When I was doing my health inspections on Tuesday night, a lot of that stuff could be put
And
here.
it's very frustrating for me, to get a call and not really be able to help people
Right.
sometimes, or say, oh,
Situation.
sorry, you have to go to Bennington, or, because I know it is a hardship, and I hate going to Bennington. I mean, it stinks that sometimes we have to go there for everything, so it would be nice if some things were here. And
I think it would be-
just the opportunity for community engagement.
Just things that pop into my head, right off the bat real quickly. I know there's other places, but come tax season, if you had somebody who was in there,
To help with.
to help people who can't
Yeah.
navigate their taxes.
Even things
a couple
like-
nights a week, whatever, you could certainly, that's just something that popped into my head when you were talking
And
about.
budgeting workshops and cooking classes and workshops, whatever you want to call them, things like that aren't offered.
Or even a play date kind of thing.
Yeah, play group.
A play group, they used to have them at the fire department, and I don't
And
think
it
they
only
do anymore.
takes sort of reaching out to those agencies and letting them know the space is available, and then they do the programming, they do the work, so.
Right.
And
I
maybe,
think the possibilities are just about endless.
right, in the library, maybe could do something.
Yep.
I think once we get that word out here in town to the people the groups that were identified in the survey, once we get that word out there, it's gonna take a little work for somebody to get that word out there. But I think you'll see it take off. I think those groups that were identified, I think they'd rather stay in Pownal to have their situations taken care of, right? Where they have some resources, rather than have to drive to Bennington or wherever they have to go.
Yeah.
And I love your idea, 3-4 times a year, whatever it is, or more, or every week, or whatever it happens to be. I just think all of this stuff is really starting to come together.
I guess I'm always the one on this, but what I really liked about all of these things is we've got the space. Just as Tara was saying, we can bring people in. I don't believe I've heard anything that costs the town anything. It's all about volunteers. You can have somebody volunteering to do taxes in April, or somebody putting on a health survey, or a health a workshop, all of those types of things. And it plays right into town center as well. So the town center park, as well as the town hall, can be used for both of those things.
And if
It's really nice.
Yeah, and one of my ideas, many people in the area struggle with substance use, and to attend a meeting is not always that easy because you may have your child. What if you're a single parent? What if you're a grandparent who's single and has no one to watch them? There is really no option for a space that offers a play space in the back so you can attend your meetings. That's important to me, to be a multi-generational facility, so that it's all inclusive and really,
Yeah, no, your groups were identified all the way through. That's what I mean. There was multiple groups, multiple age groups that, the building sits there. I would love to see somebody in there 7 days a week, basically, or whatever.
And it's handicap accessible, so we're
Yeah,
all
it's
set up. It's all set to go.
other than a couple of minor repairs.
Right.
Right.
And you have those agencies in Bennington, and maybe if we show that we have a space and it's multi-use, that we can get them to come, even if it's just once a month.
Once a week,
Once a week.
I think some of those, I think Bob's probably gonna appreciate this, as much as anything. A lot of those agencies that are in Bennington, that people have to travel to Bennington, they're on our ballot every year in March for tax dollars. And if we have a space for the same agency to come here to, service our Pownal residents.
Yep.
I think they should take advantage of that.
I agree.
And is there, and I think I heard also but Tara, correct me if I'm wrong, that just about any group could reserve the space for a meeting, provided it's available, of course.
Yep.
And just use that as a space, kind of like the library does in that back room.
Yes, exactly.
Any more comment from the board or anyone else?
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think we should,
I think it's a great idea.
let Tara run with it.
I think Tara's are you looking for a motion?
Sure, but Jim has his hand up.
I'm not sure. Am I invited yet?
We have a motion on the table, we should,
Well, we don't have a motion. We should put a motion
I
on.
thought we did, I thought I said that.
I don't think we put a motion in a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'll entertain a motion.
One sec, Jim. I think they're still debating.
I make a motion that we allow Tara to run with her idea,
To research and.
to research
And come
and
back.
to come back to us.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion from the board? Jim, I'll allow you to comment on this.
Okay, no problem. Jim Gostis, North Mason Hill Road. First of all, I've got to just say, I appreciate what Tara is trying to do or attempting to do. And I also appreciate the resident that is there. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name and everything, but kudos to you guys and everything. I really think that the townspeople really don't want to spend too much money in that place. And Tara has said that all of this would be done with grants, but at the same time, there will be costs later down the road, and we just have to be aware of all that. What I remember in the past couple of years has been that when the town hall was first kind of going through a process of where it could be located, there was an option out there that it could be incorporated in the Legion building. At that point, they were willing to do something and donate it. And it's a huge building. It's got a nice hallway upstairs. It has a kitchen. The beer fest could be perfectly fit into that place. And I'd like to just know if maybe on the other side of the hand, let Tara continue with what you're doing, because it is a great idea, but I just don't want to throw money into a building that, and I do say we need the mold study before anything starts.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to know if we can just talk to the Legion and find out if a nice community center could be made there, and it could incorporate everything that you're just talking about this whole meeting. And I'll leave it at that point, as I'm just throwing it out as an idea, but I hate to lose that building and have it go to somewhere else. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm not aware of the Legion offering the building in that regard.
Me,
In any way.
that was years ago.
Right, there was some internal discussion about it. Internal meaning external to the Legion. I don't know that they ever offered it.
Yeah, I never heard that. And Jim, just so you're aware, we are going to be paying for that building regardless. I mean, even if we leave it empty, it's going to need upkeep over the years, over time. So certainly if we can get grant funding to sort of offset that, that's the goal. Because regardless, it's like our building forever kind of deal.
Right, and just
So,
so he knows, we did look into seeing if we could sell it, and we cannot sell it.
right.
So
And
we, own it.
Yeah, and the mold stuff, we did have it come out, people come out and look at it. They said the best course of action would be for us to make the minor repairs to the foundation and stuff to keep the outside from coming in like it does. And then have it retested for mold because we would be replacing the floor and painting and stuff anyways. So that also reduces a lot of the mold. And as a lot of companies are telling me, there's mold everywhere. So you there's a safe range and an unsafe range. So we would want to obviously be in the safe range. And yes, we would do that before we offered the space at all.
So I have a motion on the floor. Can I have a second?
Could I just add one more thing?
No, Jim, I think we're gonna vote on this. And,
Okay, I think you just should get the Historical Society involved if it's a necessary building that needs to stay, otherwise demolish it.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, even though I said no. I have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. And I really appreciate you coming in, and I gotta tell you that if you come in here Monday and talk to Tara and ask to volunteer, I'm pretty sure she's gonna have her arms, give you a big hug, so.
Yep. It was great to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you Monday.
Absolutely. See you then.
Yeah, welcome to
Thanks for
Pownal.
coming.
Okay, any public comment?
No other heads up.
No hands up? Okay, let's move into executive for personnel.
I'll make a motion, we enter into executive session for personnel.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye.
Recording in progress.
I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session for legal.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. Aye. I'll entertain a motion, enter executive for contractual.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Oh, wait.
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract for Cat TV.
I will second it. So moved.
We need a second. I'll second it. All those in favor?
Angie, opposed.
Brian, I.
Bob, aye.
Mike, aye. So carried. Any public comment?
Yes, Jen.
Got his hand up.
Am I all set here? My name's Jim Kosas, and I've just got to say, Mike, as chairman of the board, you're just not getting it, all right? You are, and we have agreed before, that when it comes to executive sessions, there needs to be a mention of what the discussion is going to be about without divulging anything that could be detrimental. You are not doing that, and you're just reverting back, okay? You are now, in my sense, having secret meetings in executive session that people do not know what you are doing, okay? So I would request that you acknowledge tonight what your legal discussion was about without divulging any of the pertinent information, and what your contractual was about without divulging any pertinent information. And let's move forward. Tara, if you need to educate them, if you need to call the leagues, I would appreciate that we just clean this up, because it is starting to get to the point of you are violating open meeting laws within the executive sessions. Thank you.
So I'm going to address the contractual, Jim. I think it probably should have been fairly self-evident when we came out of the contractual executive session that we voted to accept by a vote of 3-1 to accept the CAT TV contract. I would think that would be self-explanatory, but I'm not sure. As far as the personnel, when we go into a personnel executive, that's pretty self-explanatory in itself. It's personnel. That's why we go into an executive for personnel, is because it is personal and it's private.
We agreed on that one.
That's okay. And as far as legal, that in itself tonight could put the town in a position that we don't want to be in with it until we have the paperwork served that needs to be served. So if we came out here and defined what the legal portion was, we very absolutely could have put the town in a position that we didn't want to be in on the legal portion of it. I think we've done and I think we took your, a few meetings back. I think we've been trying to do a pretty good job of that. Personnel is definitely not going to be, I'm never going to say what the personnel issue is. And legal, when we can, I think we have said what the legal thing was. Tonight was not, we're not in a position to divulge what that legal executive was about. We're still working with our lawyer. That's why it's legal.
Okay, if only you could just double check on that and make sure. Thank you very much.
We'll entertain the motion to adjourn if there's no more hands.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Brian, I.
Bye-bye.
Mike, aye.